afternoon, y'all. My name's Joe. Welcome back to Zfighterperformance Garage. Today's episode, we're going to be heading out to our shop to work on a couple of our Datsun 240z projects. First project we're going to work on is our Blue 240z. We're going to be installing some suspension on the driver's side so we can get this car as a roller, make it a little bit easier to move around the shop, as well as maybe getting into painting the engine bay as well as the floor on the 240z. The second project we're going to be working on today is going to be a 1970 Datsun 240z Series 1 SECA ITS race car. This car kind of fell into our laps about a month or so ago. It was way too good of a deal to pass up, and it is a previous race car. It's got coilovers on it and several other parts, so we're going to try and get that car running today, and hopefully you like today's video. What's up, David? What are we about to do?
I'm about to get this car fired up.
All right, that's what I like to hear. All right, so basically what we're about to do, this is our Series 1 Datsun 240z SECA ITS race car that we picked up. Definitely has seen better days, but this is one heck of a platform, and I am definitely excited about getting this built. There's a lot of work that we're gonna have to do to it, but this is a pretty cool build. We're gonna take what somebody else did and improve upon it, try and make it our own. So it's definitely been sitting for quite some time. Kill switch is over there, and yeah, we're about to put in this yellow top Optima battery. It's been charging for a little bit. We'll go ahead and stick it in and see if we can get this thing to turn over. We're also going to start kind of tearing a few things off of this, as well as cleaning the inside of this out, so that way we can see what we have and don't have as far as parts wise, and kind of get a list on this Series 1 as to what else we need. Definitely need some tires. These things are gone. So basically what we're doing right now, this is what came with the car. It's a whole bunch of parts, I guess original parts. We're going to go ahead and remove everything out of the rear trunk area and set it on the floor, just so we can kind of see what all we've got, and kind of go forward from there. We got power somewhat. Got some running lights. The rears are dead. Side marker lights work though. So unfortunately we were unable to get the 70s Series 1 started. The batteries that we were trying to use just didn't have enough juice in them, as well as I forgot the key. Kind of important. But anyways, that's okay. We went ahead and cleaned it out and kind of wiped down the car. It was extremely dirty, and just kind of looked and did a little parts over to see what exactly we needed to purchase for the car. What we're gonna probably do is fix this fender. It does have kind of a substantial dent in it. But I believe we should be able to get that out. Definitely going to repaint, respray. There's a lot of surface rust, as well as a few little rot areas, but not terrible. There's another dent area right here. We might replace these fenders if I can find us a decent set, or we may go ahead and use those over there for this car, because it's already been done as far as body work goes. Back here, we did vacuum it out. I mean, the fuel cell's already done. We're going to pull it out, drain it if there's anything in it, and see if any of the anti-slosh foam that's in there needs to be replaced. More than likely it does, and we'll kind of just service the fuel cell, as well as we're going to be doing something with the back end back here, whether it be, you know, an undercoating or something along those lines. Not sure just quite yet. We went ahead and started cleaning the front area as well, and we're definitely going to pull the seats out here in a minute. And there's a few holes over there on the driver's side that you can see, where you can see daylight. Those are gonna, if it's too bad, we're going to replace the entire pans. Otherwise, if we can just get away with patching them, then that's what we're going to do. Trying to keep as much original metal on the car as I can. If not, that's okay too. We can get a set of pans and completely do the pans for this car, which is what we'll probably have to do with the Series 1 back there as well. So basically that's kind of where we're at, and we're going to stop for today on this car. Went ahead and jumped over to this one while David was working on the Series 1. Went ahead and pulled out the brake booster, the master cylinder for the clutch, and started getting these lines, as far as brake lines and fuel lines, removed. Unfortunately, the phone was not on and while we were doing this stuff, but just kind of giving a quick update. We're going to remove all this stuff, then we're going to go ahead and wet sand and do some taping up and prime the engine bay and go forward from there. Okay, so we have wet sanded, wet sanded, and wax and grease removed the front clip here. So this whole section, we're about to prime it, and then once that's primed, then move into the driver's side and passenger side and get those sanded and wax and grease removed and primed, as well as the firewall. So we primed the front clip black. It has 2 coats on it. I don't want to go too heavy because it was kind of just supposed to be a light covering for this stone paint that we're using. So I'm going to go ahead and keep moving inward on the engine bay. That way I can get the whole engine bay primed black and then start throwing down the stone paint. Okay, so this side is prepped, ready for primer all the way up the frame rail and up under. We were trying to get these fenders off so that way we could wrap over the fender, but it's just not wanting to come off. So we're gonna go ahead and try and hit it with primer, because up here we're gonna have to take it off and cut out for our camber plates anyways, our welding camber plates. So probably gonna hold off the stone paint for that area till we get some camber plates put in, but I'm gonna go ahead and prime this side. First light coat, fillable primer. Probably do another, well, I'll probably just go with the sandable black primer over it, try and get good coverage. for this side, then this side will be done. I need to focus on this side and the back part of the firewall, and then we're ready for the stone paint. So we have laid down the last coat of black primer. As you can see, it stops halfway. That whole back area is done, all the way moving forward. In the front clip area, it's all ready to go. And it's still drying. And we're waiting for this to dry. And then we're gonna finish sanding that back rusty area, hit it with some fillable primer, and go ahead and do the black primer as well. And we should move forward. So basically we have finished out this side. We just finished wax and grease removing, as well as doing the fillable primer, sandable fillable primer. Went ahead and sanded a few other places. About to throw on the black primer and should be done for the evening. Let it sit for a couple days, come back and throw the stone paint on this engine bay and see how it looks. So we just finished up the passenger side with the black primer. It is done, the firewall's done, the driver's side is done, and the front clip part is done. So now we're going to let it sit here and cure for a day or so before we go ahead and start throwing the stone paint that we purchased on the engine bay. So it's been a few days since we primed our engine bay on our Datsun 240z CP vintage race car budget build. As we alluded in a previous video, this is a budget build, kind of a DIY build, and hence the reason for the spray paint. We used spray paint primer, and we're also using this Rust-Oleum stone textured kind of spray paint, and see how this works, and then we'll go forward from there. So here we go with the second coat has been applied. It is still wet, waiting for it to dry. But we used 3 cans and got this coverage. Definitely like the effect, the look for this stone colored. It's kind of different. Once it fully dries, then I can kind of test it and see how durable it is as far as the stone aspect of it, to make sure that it's, you know, going to hold up for what I'm wanting it to do. But so far I like it. Got to wait for it to dry, cure, and then we'll throw some matte clear on it. So here's the finished product. I let this sit for a couple of days in 100+ degree temperature here in the shop, so basically it just baked. And you know, I'm really happy with it. It looks cool, but my whole concern was once it dried, would it be durable? And it's durable. I mean, it's exactly what we were needing, you know, for a not cheap but cheapish paint job on the engine bay, fender wells. We're gonna go to the interior of it as well and do the same exact thing. The reason we're doing this with this car is it's more of a DIY. Something that somebody can obtain is spray paint. They may not have a compressor, they may not have a paint gun or a paint booth or anything like that. So we're trying to do as much DIY where somebody can do it at their house as possible on this CP vintage race car build. And I mean, I'm extremely excited about this stone colored paint. So I wanted to kind of go over what we're doing on the channel. We are currently doing 3 builds at once. The Blue 240 Datsun CP vintage race car, the yellow 70 Datsun 240 CP vintage race car, and our 2000 Dodge Viper GTS. The reason we have not finished our 2000 Dodge Viper GTS is I still am waiting on parts. And we did have to send a few parts back because they were incorrect and they weren't going to work for our Gen 2 Viper. So, with that being said, yes, we are trying to get these race cars done as well, but here soon I will be back on the Dodge Viper and hopefully getting that car wrapped up within the next couple of weeks. I really want to drive that thing. I want that car pretty much complete so we can start doing some other content with it, you know, going out to car shows and really just enjoying the car. So if you liked today's video, please do not forget to hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. Also, please turn on your post notifications so you get all new content coming to the channel. Have a great day.